in the winners final between Full Send and 200 milligrams. I'm the Raptor, joined by a little fuzzy Seal on my co-chair here. Seal, how you doing tonight? I'm sure Seal is doing absolutely phenomenally, right?
Discord mics are fun, guys. Yes, we do have the boys over on a Full Send versus 200 milligram players, not the same ones you saw earlier.
Oh, you're right.
A different team, yeah. The Overwatch meme scene will never die. Maybe it wasn't as strong as it was back in the day, but don't you worry, memes never die. Which is...
they're catching us off guard, and then of course the 20 milligram players in the blue. This is a best of 3. We're starting off here on Hollywood, and then if we need it, we're going to Nepal for map 2, which we will need it because it's best of 3. And then if we need that, Junkertown will go into map 3 for our tiebreak.
Well, I mean, they might resign, so
that's true. That they could lose one map and then forfeit. You know, technically right, which is the best kind of correct. So.
All right, well, over there on the defense, it is going to be the new team to the stream, 200 milligram players. They'll be running Orisa Roadhog here on defense, as well as Zaxel on the Junkrat. I'll be very curious to see how this works out. And on the offense, it is straight up dive. So let's see if the chaos inspired by this team will be enough to get around the hopefully unbreakable wall of 200 milligram players.
It's certainly a wall, but once you get past it, there are a bunch of targets to dive on. So it's going to be key for Chuck to land these hooks, as well as Jolf staying in position and keeping the shield in front of him, and also not losing Flubby early, because without that, they won't have the Transcendence up in time for whenever Zoker has the blade ready.
Yeah, looks like right now, Full Send is just posturing themselves on the high ground. Orisa and Roadhog doing a lot of, you know, just annoyance with the hook and that right click. So far they do find Fitz, but it is a 1-for-1 trade, and now both supports being taken down for defenders is not a good spot for 200 MG. Looks like Chuck's looking for either the Mercy or the Genji, but can't really find either right now. He's actually gunned down by the Mercy themselves. Badger killing Chuck at the end. Just a little bit of bad mare to end that, and as the first tick does go, I'd be very surprised to see 200 MG actually go in for a contest.
I doubt it, and a lot of that came down to Zoker being such a nuisance in the backline. Unfortunately, they didn't have a Winston to deal with the Genji, so you know you can't have Orisa and Roadhog chasing down a flanker in your backline. That's a big weakness of that build. So when Zoker just found the high priority targets, there was absolutely no one there to stop him. And even Fitz getting on the board again, getting a long range kill here, putting a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, Zoker pulling out his blade, chasing down some players. Rampage will be going down, but during the blade, Zaxel fighting with the Riptire. A very, very bloody fight for both teams, but it does look like with Zaxel going down, it is going to be our attackers feeling pretty good. There is still Winston in the form of Jolf that's able to contest the card for a little bit, so not quite as much value as they wanted out of a fight that was this good for them, but they are still able to eventually, indeed, win the fight, making sure that everyone's staying alive. But, actually, as I said, Iron getting DMAC, not going to be great for them. Badger also popping the Valkyrie, bringing Singer back in at that little saloon right there. They'll be getting down to this, so definitely a good revive as Zoker just going ham with those dash resets on the inside. Supposed to bring out their own Valkyrie, bring 2 people back to the fight as well. But I'm looking around, I'm seeing a lot more red than blue around this cart right now. It's actually going down, who has switched to that Doomfist, now dead on the Doomfist. Fitz fighting Rampage as well, doing a great job on this thing. Now definitely making the revive worth it. Iron getting unmaxed, but that is the only real casualty that is suffered by Full Send here, as 200 MG players are mostly just kind of posturing back, retreating, not really contesting right now. Primal Rage from Azuma is going to be keeping players away for now. Diva Bomb in the back does find Badger. No Winston to bubble that as he was Primal Rage. Zoker now trying to make sure that no more losses are obtained, pulling out the blade, taking down Chuck for much damage. No pulse bomb kills found from either Tracer at the moment. There is one on the cart. Rampage doing what they can, trying to get some damage out, but they're forced out, getting knocked very, very low, but they do eventually find Fitz. So the sheer amount of bodies and respawns that 200 MG is throwing at Full Send is slowly but surely dealing damage, and now with only Winston and Genji and Tracer on the cart, there's not a lot of healing. There's no healing, actually. This might finally be the defense for 200 MG players. All that's left is just the Genji going down, and now Azuma, who is dead. Very long defense, very long push, but now 200 MG can finally take a breath.
You can too, for sure. Zach's still not helping you out there because much more sustain provided by having Doomfist on there. And he also batter around Azuma and Iron once they get up into his face. But really good job there by Fitz keeping the Discord Orb on Joel for almost the entirety of that fight, which made him almost just as squishy as the other characters in this team. And even though the fight was won by 200 milligram players, Full Send got very far with the payload after a prolonged fight, and now they're pushing up here on the rooftop, trying to get some leverage on the high ground and set up for their next kills. I'm sure Zoker's going to be looking in for this blade, and here he goes, going in, finding the Mercy, trying to continue to chase it, but he's getting peeled away. Does kill Suppose, but he's not in position to get any other kills until he finds Chuck, who is getting back into his mech in the pocket. And Flubby finally has the Transcendence out, but I think that's the first Transcendence I've seen from him his entire game, and it was way too late to deal with the blade. Still, Jolf is alive, gets rid of Fitz. Rampage responds, getting Badger, and now the Doomfist, an uppercut onto the Sinker, and even meanwhile, Rampage gets a double kill while Zax was distracted, and Sinker actually gets the pickup, but Suppose then picks him up from the grave with the res, and Zach was back into the fray, and then fight again is won by 200 milligrams.
Definitely a lot more in favor of 200 MG, but looking around, I'm looking at Ultron for Full Send. They got a Trance and a Primal Rage that they do have in the back pocket, as well as a Valkyrie suit that is going to be obtained very, very soon, essentially before this fight. There is a lot of resources that our defending team simply does not have, and now So right now, 200 MG, they got to hold the high ground. They're actually dropping down to the cart because that's getting pretty close over there. But now the blade coming out, the beginning of the ult usage coming out for Full Send. They're finding Zaxel, supposed going down to the left from Iron, getting chased down by the dive. And already only needing one ult. It's looking like that Full Send is doing a very good job sending these guys back to the spawn. With Badger, I think I saw him get 2 kills at the end there. Joel going down to contest the cart, but it will just be for literally half a second. He's dying. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left as the door to the last checkpoint opens here on Hollywood.
Oh, and Zoker finding Zaxel before he can hide behind the corner. And now look at this. They come out of that fight not only with the checkpoint, but a 3 ultimate advantage here. 4 ultimate advantage now compared to Rampage's just 1 on the side of 200. Yeah, after winning the fight. So they essentially did it without burning anything. They have a bunch to go in with, and by the time a couple of these ultra burn, the next fight happens, Zoker will be ready with the blade most likely. So Flubby really needs to be getting these Transcendences ready.
Diva Bomb going on in the back. Looks like people are be able to hide from him, but during that, Chuck and Sigurd going down due to a huge slew of explosives in the back line. Full Send using their ults very, very well. They do not have any more at the moment. Those Zoker getting very close and finding those kills. And I'm talking about ults right now, but just looking at the kills right now, Ryan is gonna get trapped. He has the Harmony Orb on him, but that is not much healing for a second on him. He'll be dashed down by Zoker, and now the respawn. This is just a stagger going on here. Flubby keeping people alive with that trance, but not going to be enough at all. Ooh, is Axel fighting Fitz with the Doomfist Meteor Strike, but will immediately be brought back by Badger's Mercy, keeping this push alive right now, or the support of Full Send, doing a brilliant job of not losing any players. It feels like Doomfist going in the back line, not finding any kills, having to fall back, eventually chased down by Iron. Charging into the wall is Zolf, but Zuma's the only one going down so far. The Diva Bomb keeping everyone back so far. The cart is so close, 0.15 meters. The respawns of 200 empty players are doing what they can. Moira now out, immediately dying. Iron doing so much damage against these weakened players, and now finally Full Send winning that with a minute left. But despite there being a minute left, that did feel pretty Full Send favored.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think right there, I mean, we saw it on the kill feed, the tank line, Azuma and Iron absolutely going off there towards the end of that fight. But also we saw, I mean, the Doomfist working for a pretty good amount of time towards the end of this map. But then Zaxel in those tight areas, once those cooldowns go down, he's just a big ult battery at times. And not only that, I mean, the displacement matters much less when you have less room to work with and less follow-up. So Zaxel can't really sustain on his own. He needs a Doomfist supported by other characters to make his sustain more amplified. So in the end there, just the constant or relentless pressure from the offense was just way too much to deal with. And everyone's just playing so very well, not only the tank line, but Zoker still, Sinker both, and showing not only that, but diversity in their map character selection as well.
Yeah, looking here on the defense, we're seeing a little bit less of a creative composition coming out here. Just straight up defensive dive coming out. Zoker on the 76, Azuma on the Winston, etc., etc. The question is, though, what is 200 MG players going to pull out? Obviously, they probably have dives somewhere in that back pocket. They were playing it last round, but are they going to be using this or something else? It looks like right now they will be teasing dive, but Zaxel on the Doomfist. You said that previously. You kind of need to stay alive, but like, what are your opinions on this character? Because we've seen him only really work when he has like a perch, like in King's Row. When he doesn't have a place he can safely wait for his cooldowns to come back to, it seems like he can really lose effectiveness.
I think honestly he just works better in a composition that's tankier and has more sustain. When he's a character that again needs to be flanked by the rest of his team, he can't afford all of these squishies to go down. But also, wow, Zoker, a big right click onto Rampage already and burning the res off of Supposed. And that's a great way to start things off. Just feeling wise, like, oh, that's just a right click you like to see. But yeah, Zoker is now 25% towards his visor. I don't know, again, because Zaxel, especially in Hollywood too, Zaxel has to go so far to get to that back line that he really needs the support, and if it's not there, he essentially goes down early. And like, look at that, because Zenyatta is already down, there's no healing orb being thrown onto Zaxel as he dives in, there's no Discord waiting for him on his target, and he gets melted immediately.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Still, there is Chuck as well, who's getting staggered here. So this fight definitely going incredibly poorly for the players. Chuck is able to actually get out, so no real stagger, maybe. Oh god, Chuck is constantly just every time they poke, almost dying. Very, very scary for them. They do have novel other players here. Chuck as well getting their mech back, so there is a full push potential going on here. But looking at the ult charges of our defenders right now, they're pretty high up there. We're gonna get him during this fight, but the dive is now coming in the back line. A lot of players going back, but Zaxel finding nothing, absolutely nothing with the dive, and now just even Patrick once again getting a kill on this Mercy of all things. Just looking around, this dive was completely ineffective. Still Joel trying to make something work. So the attack visor from Zoker just crouching here on the high ground, just holding that mouse one, sitting there, definitely winning, and now Zaxel realizes that yes, Doomfist is not the way to go. You gotta go strip dive, going over to the Genji.
That was really unfortunate. Not sure if that was caught, but Jolf on the initial dive actually missed the second floor of the commissary. So the only divers that made it up there were the Doomfist and the D.Va. So there was no bubble shield, and Defense Matrix can only block so much these days. And by the time Jolf got up there, Doomfist and D.Va were already melted on the side of 200 milligram players. So they're diving right back in, but Iron is trying to boom out. Jolf again doesn't make it up there, and he leaves the D.Va and the other divers by themselves. Zaxel has to back off. He is on the Genji now, but still routed and found in the back corner by Azuma, and now the rest of the team straggling and scrambling out to the point. Jolf has to jump away. The only contender left on the point is Rampage, and he gets shifted down by Iron, and again completely shut down by Full Send. It's 200 milligrams, so they still haven't been able to completely coordinate their dive attempts so far.
It's really hard to not look at Jolf and just be like, come on, man, you got to do a little bit better. But looking around, they do have a pretty big opportunity here. A lot of ults about to come up for them in particular. This fight should give them a lot. And now this time, definitely getting up there this time. He will be going and diving in. This is looking a little bit more effective now as a couple of those supports are forced back. But the D.Va Bomb going in the back line, looking like it might, no, not quite finding the Zen. But Fitz does die on the side of the defense. Rampage killing himself with a pulse bomb as well, though. More explosives going on point, just only mitigating bubble shields, though no real damage. Probably keeping his teammates alive with the trance on the point. But Zaxel, he's going in with the dive. He's very alone here. Health bubble keeping him alive for a little bit longer. On the point though, Izuma going down. That was one of the last ones actually able to contest this so far. Definitely pick for pick right now. Sinker here on the point, making sure that no one can go in back cap. Chuck can connect as well. Chuck in a very, very dangerous spot with Sinker right here. She's going in, trying to get a little bit of extra charge, and now, yep, Chuck going down. That is essentially this push over with 30 seconds left. They cannot wait for Chuck. They got to go in again right now.
And Iron already pushing up onto the high ground, making their presence known, knowing it's not safe to just go up there and run immediately, but Zaxel finds that little bit of room and now rotates over up into the second, or at least the first corner there before commissary, just try to distract and get a little way in, and then allowing Jolf, but Jolf jumps in by themselves. Rampage is waiting down in the back air towards the dumpster, but not able to convert into any kills unless they get Zoker. Zoker does go down, but the res immediately brings them back up, and now Iron's behind. They've now pinched the offense behind and towards the end, but is that a little bit of an unpositioning there because they're losing bodies left and right? Zax will go down, finally finds Fitz. Zoker is still upstairs, but he's discorded, can't peek too much. Finally gets back into it, but he's not able to confirm any kills while Chuck picks up one on the D-Mech and then again on the Baby D.Va. And now Chuck then finding Zoker, knocks him off the top area, and the defense completely mitigated here, no longer remaining on the point. It's just Zoker all the way in the back of the staircase. No one's there remaining, and it's finally 200 milligram painters just at the end in overtime. We'll be able to convert on this once they get this final kill. I don't believe that should be a false contest here. I mean, unless they're able to bring this back somehow, I really hope 200 milligrams doesn't drop this.
Man.
They should be able to hold on to it. Finally, there goes the D.Va. Iron goes down, and in overtime, they are able to secure the payload, and we'll move on to phase 2.
Definitely the comms right there were just like, guys, what if we can do it? It's not don't worry about the how, but what if it does happen? Definitely not possible with how many players there were as far back as they were. But with overtime being called not too much gained or lost, besides positioning right now, which is kind of biting them in the butt right now as they come out the spawn to a full set. They're having to fight up this building. Rampage finding Fitz earlier as well. Chuck killing Azuma. So right now, the 200 MG players doing a pretty good job of making sure that they can translate the mistake that Fulson had earlier into a good position here with a cart simply uncontested, just chugging away towards the second point. This is exactly what they need after an overtime cap.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Sinker was trying to get something going in the backline, but the change off Doomfist to Genji, I think, worked out great for Zaxel. But now, because now Sinker can't easily put on pressure on Rampage or the backline, it's both Rampage and Zaxel he has to deal with, two high mobility characters with smaller hitboxes, which are making it much harder for Sinker to land actual kills in the backline. Rampage picking up Fitz, another dive in there by both of the red team tanks here, but they're losing bodies on the point itself. They've left the rest of their team to die. Even when Zoker dropping this visor, he gets pushed off, but the triple kill from Iron, he gets the teammate as well. That's huge from downtown, a big D.Va bomb, and then a kill with the missiles on the Chuck. What a swing by Iron, a very clutch play to finally keep this payload in place.
Oh, it's always awesome when you see those little D.Va, oh, this big D.Va bombs.
I was gonna say, big D.Va bomb there.
Completely changing the climate of a fight. 3 kills and a DMAC with that one. Definitely showing that you gotta respect the D.Va bomb, and definitely showcasing individual skill in that regard. Iron, definitely a D.Va. No one wants to mess with those. Going into this last fight, 30 seconds left, excuse me. They gotta make this last push where they're Badger pulling in the Valkyrie suit early to make sure no one dies. Apparently, the pulse goes on to Fitz, but actually able to trance away before he gets killed by it. Not too much value gain from it, but at least he doesn't die, which is very important right now. Zoker does go down, no heals coming for him, but that is the only death for this team, as the supports are just not quite enough for the players to actually stay alive. Suppose and Zenyatta the only ones who really love Zaxel doing what he can, but without a blade and without need to anyone else help him out. He's gonna be going down here very, very soon. He's doing what he can, staying alive, but his friends are all dying around him. The Mercy does go down in form of Badger, but ooh, no one on the cart will mean that Full Send is able to win round 1 here on Hollywood.
And that'll push them to a 1-0 lead here in this winner's final set. Let's see this play of the game coming out from Iron here. This is absolutely the triple bomb right here. It speaks for itself, for sure. Speaks for itself, and that's huge, because over the length of these really long fights, you kind of lose track of characters sometimes, and they lost track of where the D.Va was at, and he just set up for an amazing triple bomb right there. So good job by Iron to get that.
Yeah, something consistent I've seen from D.Vas is their ability to sort of figure out where the Mercy is, and then just make sure that even if they're flying in the air, like, you know, gravity only works so fast. Just put that bomb in a spot where they can't quite get back to cover. Yeah, you're hard to hit, but you can't avoid a massive explosion. And Chuck, I'm not even sure if they were even intending on getting those extra 3 kills. They just saw the Mercy. It was like, you're gonna die now. Definitely deserving of play of the game. However, next map is going to be the second most loved, or maybe first most loved, depending on who you ask. It's going to be Nepal. King of the Hill, straight up fights coming out here, and once again, a King of the Hill map that, based on the particular Nepal map that we get, will afford a lot of different kinds of comps. You're going to see a Roses, you're going to see Dive, maybe even some Reinhardt, based on what these teams want to do. And honestly, we're probably going to see all of it if we get all 3 rounds.
That's why I'm not surprised if we see Doomfist come back out here, or characters that just require less committal in terms of their dives, because, you know, obviously the fights are gonna congruent around the point itself. You're not gonna have these super long lanes to deal with. But we are going to Nepal Village, so that means we got more walls to work with, very, very short sight lines. And that means opportunity. I mean, we're not going to see a Junkrat here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Junkrat on Sanctum, but we're going to see if he sticks with it. Zoker on the Hanzo, big opportunity for scatter arrow kills. We have Zaxel going to the Pharah, which I think a lot of the time, especially earlier in Overwatch, people are like, oh, this isn't a map for Pharah. This isn't a map for Pharah because the point is enclosed. But Pharah can still do a ton of work on the open sides where everyone has to go into, and especially because of the big second floor high ground areas, Pharah just dominates there for sure.
Yeah, as long as the dive can just force people into Pharah's rockets, that is exactly what she needs. Also, in this initial engagement, Pharah can get a lot of work done because you're not going to be immediately on the point. However, though, it does look like that those players on, well, the 200 milligram players are teasing something that is, not standard. Okay, Zoka switching now to off of the Rhine, and Iron going to the Diva. Okay, they're just playing dive, so nothing too crazy coming out. In fact, both teams playing the exact same comps. They're definitely one of the stronger heroes on this map. They can just fly right over these buildings. Now, who can get the more picks, though, is the question.
Yeah, and by the way, we do have a color change. Full Send is in the blue now. 200 milligram players in the red. And remember, Full Send is up 1-0 in this set. If they take Nepal, they will be going to the grand final set, which is best of 5. And already we're seeing bloodshed. We're seeing the utility of Pharah. You definitely would be wrong if anyone were to say she wasn't good on this map for sure. And you're seeing this first foray, how much room she has to get a ton of kills, but also whether or not the Pharahs are going for the 1v1, they're just ignoring each other for the most part and then going for kills. Now that there's some kills going down, Zoker has Zaxel in his sights, trying to chase down just a little bit here. And also remember, the Mercy is hanging on to the Pharahs. That's another high priority target to go after.
Oh man, and just look at that little poke by Full Send, just going in there a little bit, saying, okay, we can't find any kills, just back off, just doing exactly what they're allowed to do. Chuck getting immediately demaxed, Jolf going down as well, so both tanks out of the fight immediately by the players. They have no damage mitigation whatsoever. They're able to find Badger throughout this fight, as well as almost capping the point, but Azuma knows what's going on. He knows what the timings are, able to get back to the time, making sure that no caps happen. A couple of kills are found here by the players, but definitely just a little bit of players getting finished off. Rampage going down. That's the end of the push. A little bit bloody than I would expect from the initial pick, but it will once again be Full Send winning that fight with a nice ult advantage as well.
Yeah, now it's tied up, but Fitz now gets the Valkyrie to make it 3-2, and they're close to having the Primal from Azuma, whereas no one else is really close on the side of the red team, 200 milligrams. They're going to try and just push in and get some ults here, but they're going to try and get the most out of this D.Va Bomb, but a little too high up. It only gets the Pharah, but that could be enough to go into this. No, the Rez is going to pick up Chuck, pick up Zoker. Fitz then picking up Iron, and then Flubby getting Chuck back into the fight. The fight now going on to the point itself as a barrier gets popped down by Badger. Iron getting knocked out of mech, and Chuck's right on him, trying to grill him down, but he gets pulse bombed, still alive just for a second though, and now he's Baby D.Va, but he's getting chain here by Flubby's Valkyrie Mercy. Meanwhile, Jolfe trying to chase down and then does find the Baby D.Va of Iron. Things should swing here for 200 milligrams, but the barrage trying to even things up. Zoker isn't actually on the point, but he does get the double kill off the barrage. Oh, unfortunately, though, gets put down by Zaxel, and it's still going to be a hold just for the time being for 200 milligrams.
Is there going to be a really quick push here from Full Send to the question, because Zoker did use that rocket barrage, and they're going really, they're actually going in to try to make some damage from that devil happen. They're just going right onto the point. Actually, oh, so close to get that recap. I think that was a job going right to the point just in time. Badger and Fitz going down right away. Thought this might have been a little bit folly, as, oh god, just look at the kill feed. So few players still alive here. Iron getting killed as well. Probably gonna get staggered here as well after a fight that was that one side. Iron trying to just make their way to the edge. Will eventually. No, they don't make it to the edge. They are just forced to be killed. Once again, about 10% gained from that. Bit of an unfortunate push there that was started by Zoker.
You know, I wasn't gonna agree with the idea of going in there because you want to build some ultimates, but they took the fight right to the point, which means the fight's gonna be very, very quick because it's all congested on the point. So there's not gonna be any time to actually build ultimates. So good idea, poor execution. Here comes a D.Va Bomb from downtown over that gate. Yeah, it doesn't connect on anybody, but Jolf does pick up Zoker as again the fight trying to happen onto the point, but everyone on the red team is waiting there for them. A pulse bomb does land on Jolfe, but he gets the Primal Rage out in time just before he goes down, but then Azuma gets killed anyway, unfortunately.
Rampage doing a brilliant job doing this. They eventually, as I say that, they get moved off the map. But before that, they were able to essentially keep the D.Va and the Mercy, well, out of the fight because the Mercy had died, but D.Va in the backline trying to keep Mercy alive. But Rampage, after eventually getting finished off, did allow their team to essentially fight a 5v4. Very good job from that Tracer, though. But as the point increases towards 99%, this is the last push for the team of Full Send. Cyber coming out from both teams. The second one coming from Badger, so it will last a little bit longer. Let's see if they make anything happen from it, though. D.Va Bomb going on the point, Irons, so everyone's got to get out of there right now. Chuck does not get out in time. That is one pick for Full Send, but oh, the Rocket Barrage from Zaxel. That's a little bit more than one pick, but they do kill themselves in the process. They do get revived. Zoker doing his own Rocket Barrage, but only finds one. Still anyone's game, though, as Fitz is available with that Valkyrie suit, getting a huge slew of revives off. But I'm seeing a lot of red on the point, including a bubble shield. It's just Fitz now, who is trying to contest, but does not even do that. The first round, after a almost 99 to 0 to 100, actually, yes, a 0 to 100, is going to be a Full Send taking that one.
I believe that's 200 milligrams in the red, actually.
You know, I thought 200 milligrams, and I said Full Send. I don't know what I just did. I looked at it.
Maybe you need some. You need a 200 milligrams right there. You know what I'm saying? Stay awake. Anyway, going into round 2. Yeah, exactly. 200 milligrams of coffee stat. So especially as this tournament goes into the later hours of the night. But thank you all for continuing to tune in. This is round 2 of Nepal. This is the winner's final set. And we do have Full Send, who is up 1-0, but they are down 0-1 in Nepal. And we have so Iron, Azuma, and Zoker switching off to Roadhog, Risa, and Junkrat respectively. Definitely not an unstandard comp for this map, but they're looking for those environmental kills. They've already got one. Zoker gets halted off the map by Jolfei.
Beautiful start. This Pharah as well is just going to be able to just go right on and find these rockets. Oh, but getting hooked out of the air and finished off by Iron. A beautiful hook right there, but they did initially lose this fight. Jolf winning out over Azuma as well. And after winning that small skirmish, players now going back, claiming the point. Now, though, there is Iron who's skulking on the sides, looking for that environmental kill, but does not find it. The both Rolex just burner hooks, trying to see what they catch, but fishing not gonna find too much. Jolf actually going down from the sheer amount of damage from Fitz and Zoker. There is a Pharah in the sky who's trying to make something work out, but 76 doing a lot of damage, actually getting killed by Zoker of all things, and now Singer with the attack visor finishing off these players. Zoker doesn't die in the process, but is one of the only casualties here. Iron going over the back line, trying to see if he can't secure any sneaky kills. Will not find any force back. The point, however, is flipped for Full Send.
Yeah, this is truly a war of attrition over which team can throw out the most cheese at the other team, whether it's grenades or hooks or environmental kills from Halt. They're just trying to hit him with something and get these first kills, these first pokes, these first picks. There's a hook from Iron, not gonna hit, that's gonna whiff. A visor coming out here from Rampage. He's boosted for a moment, but not able to clean up any kills as the entirety of the blue team is hiding in the confines of the tomb area in the point, in that back room. And now Zaxel moving up onto the point. Jolf gets a kill onto the Riptire, stopping Zoker for the moment. And Azuma and now Sinker are both clumped up, but not going to get hooked. Flubby gets a res on the Zaxel as he gets put down by Zoker. And now the barrier coming down, pushing him in.
Low push so far.
Oh, there's the hook. Oh, but he gets booped off. Oh, the halt.
Beautiful end.
Oh, taste your own medicine.
Now the fight breaking out on the point itself. There is a damage boost now going out for Jolf. That Orisa ult is going to be used. Azuma will be popping their own now as both Orisa's just firing around and thrown into each other's shield. Jolf will be going down first. The point still ticking forward now for Full Send, and they will actually eventually win in that Orisa v Orisa stalemate. They'll be getting taken out by Sinker as well. 75% and going for Full Send after a very, very, very long war of, as you said, a war of attrition that the players did not win out in.
Still, though, for the side of 200 milligram players, they are sitting pretty good in terms of ultimates, but unfortunately, they're not the best ultimate to get down to this point. If Zaxel can get this Riptire knocked out, then that's essentially a loss. Chuck has the grinder, but without a combo, it's not going to get guaranteed kills. Zaxel finds his way to the back line somehow and kills Zoker. There should be a res coming out from Badger for sure, as no one's there to stop that. And then Iron, big kill on the Chuck. The rest of the team hiding. Iron still gets he makes the most out of the grinder by getting the kills in the room itself. So everyone was cornered, getting full value and really good max usage out of that ultimate, getting 2, and then Zoker putting in a Riptire, just for good measure after that. And now it's 1-1 going to a round 3 on Nepal. And this is definitely along the line because if Full Sun wins this, they will moving on to grand finals. It is up to 200 milligrams to take this last round in Nepal and push this to Junkertown, our map 3 tiebreaker.
Would not be surprised to see that one. Honestly, it's and between these two teams, Junkertown would be very interesting to go through. So I actually hope that we do see that. But it will be, as you said, on 200 milligram players to see if we go there. This is one of those maps as well where you can run a fair if you want, and one team actually be doing that. Zaxel on 200 milligram players will be running that, while Zoker will be sitting on the Genji. So dive being used by both teams, one with a Pharaoh, one with a Genji. Let's see if the Blade can be the deciding factor between these two hero picks.
Okay, interesting that we're not seeing a Pharaoh coming out from the blue side here of Full Send, but Zoker can work in and out of cover with the Genji much more efficiently here, and also dive right up onto the Zenyatta, gets Flubby for the first blood. Chuck already demeched onto the point. Once these things get crazy onto the point itself, Genji is going to become even more high value as well as the Tracer. And yeah, he's already going down. The tanks are completely out. It's just supports. It's just DPS on the point, and now Zoker's going to make mincemeat of the Mercy. Sinker also getting onto the board, and this dual combo here of the Genji Tracer is working out, paying in dividends here as they get another kill to clean things up. That's going to be a first capture and completion here for Full Send.
Oh man, I was a little worried there for a second by Full Send. They lost both their tanks early in that fight, but they did enough damage beforehand in the area around when they lost their tanks that they were not just quite dove upon. So definitely very good job from them standing strong despite not having anyone to tank any damage. But now though, with the Pharaoh, she's been doing a lot of damage so far. We can see that from her ult charge, it's already reaching 100%. But Flubby getting down by Sinker and supposes to not have Falcon. So that guy has no way he's getting revived. Rocket Barrage attempted by Zaxel, absolutely no value, just a ringing of a dinner bell at that point. Getting pushed back right now are all the players. Push back or die, that is. Jolf the only one to get away, but even him getting pushed out, staggered by Sinker. It's a little bit more ult charge with that Tracer Pulse Bomb.
And that just leaves 200 milligrams. It's such a deficit here. They have no ultimates. They have to worry about both the barrier and the transcendence on the side of Full Send. So whatever they push into is going to be tankier and stockier than ever before. And that really means that their tank line on the side of 200 milligrams needs to stay alive as long as possible because they need to maintain their sustains. They have to be careful and not lose them too early, but they're already getting harassed. Thankfully, though, Rampage picks up Sinker.
Yeah, no mercy to bring them back. Zoker caught it as well. Very beautiful between that Winston and the Zenyatta. And now after those two picks, that's honestly a bit of a fight end already. The Zen is popping trance to keep everyone alive, staggering as long as they can, but that fabled 99%. But as soon as the trance ends, he is taken down by Rampage. All these tanks now only have a Lucio to heal them. That is not much sustained healing. And even them dying as soon as they leave the point. Still a stagger going on, getting as close to 99 as they can. Even again, Juri is staggering as well with friends dying. A few enters the point, surviving for a little bit as the deflect goes off. Eventually caught down, but not before getting 93%. Not a bad first cap, all considered.
Yeah, definitely not. That's as ideal as like really you'd want, other than 99%, of course. So yeah. I would take that. And not only that, they've got a great amount of ultimates. This is going to be a huge clash going into this next fight, as almost every single ultimate for the supports is ready. But we have the difference because Flubby has a Transcendence and Fitz doesn't. But Zoker has a Blade. So Flubby will be ready for that. We'll see if that lets down, whereas Zax will be able to put out a Pulse Bomb unmitigated. Already a Transcendence coming out from Flubby, though. I'm not sure why, because Zoker hadn't popped the Blade yet.
He got Pulse Bomb.
The Pulse Bomb.
To save himself. Now Zoker, as soon as the Transcendence is free for his Rampage, chasing Suppose off the map, just cutting these players down left and right. As soon as that Pulse Bomb went on, that was when Zoker knew what he had to do. Eventually, he only finds 2 kills with it, though, so the 200 MG still holding strong on point. Diva Bomb not finding anything. Chuck not able to remech either. They're winning the fight right now, but Zolf still putting up a fight, taking down Iron, who is not able to remech in time, it looks like. And despite a pretty good initiation, the players on Full Send not able to actually translate that into a winning fight. Very surprising.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the Transcendence, like you called out, thank you, being popped because of the Pulse Bomb. I thought that Zoker would be able to clean everything up since the Blade was going to go in post Transcendence, but instead they weren't able to get it. Yeah.
All right, so they're now poking up here on the high ground. They should be diving here real soon. This might be the last push as the point does tick further and closer towards 99%, or 100%. Sinker going in, dive going in here on the left side, not fighting on the point quite yet. They don't have to. We're trying to chase down some players. Chuck is the first to go down, getting DMX. You cannot revive that. The D.Va Bomb going in the back line. We'll be finding Joel, so both tanks down, but no picks to show for it. For the side of the 200 milligram players, Revive is going from Suppose. They have Hunter Valkyrie bringing both of them back, but Chuck, they are able to get their mech back as well. Currently, though, full send, still holding strong on the point, but they do lose Iron, so 5v6. But Badger taking down Zaxel, is immediately fighting Chuck as well. They control the point. Anyone who was like it does have to re-enter the point. The cap does come out after getting 99%, but there's only Joel left here on the point, and he's completely surrounded. He does have a primal rage here to survive and try to just tag this overtime as long as he can. Now the Zenyatta going in for the trance. They definitely know what they're doing, going back for a heal as Joel, and then re-enter the point when the trance ends. Overtime taking down, waiting for their team to come back, which they do actually have enough time to come back and respawn. Joel's going down, trading for fifths, but now Joker has on their blade, cutting down Chuck. He's looking for more kills.
No one's on the
point. Don't go to contest the point. It was a really good stagger, but they forgot about the point.
Full send, stealing it away, getting the crowd control, getting the displacement. Don't even need all the kills. They got the point, and Sinker picking up the Podge. And that is a best of 3, so it will be full send, taking winners finals, and they'll be moving on to the grand final set of tonight's Cal monthly premiere. When we return, we'll be jumping into the losers bracket to see the remainder of that, and then following those matches up to grand finals. So stay with us, more Cal monthly premiere coming your way after this break.